My writing has gotten over 300,000 views. I'm going to tell you the horrible truth about how I got those views, but first, there are 3 reasons why that sentence is important for writers. So, number one, in a world where people upload a video of them like dropping a banana in the toilet or whatever, and then they get 5 million views in the first 2 minutes, 300,000 is nothing. So, the number like kind of seems big on the first impact, but when I walk you through how I got it, you're not going to be blown away at all. You're actually going to be like, that's it? That's all you got? 300,000? The second reason that sentence is important is because it's a credibility indicator. You should think about what your credibility indicators are, like college degrees, awards for your writing, copies sold, views, money you made, New York Times bestseller, Pulitzer Prize winner, or results. For example, if you do freelancing, what results are your clients getting? Those are all credibility indicators. It's easy to overlook them and think you don't have any, but you do. I never did this until 2024. Start now. Track your indicators and include them in your author bio or wherever appropriate. The third reason that sentence is important is because it's easy to focus on the negatives, the money you're not making, the views you're not getting. But actually, if you take time to track these indicators, you'll watch how they grow as the years go by. So here's how I did it. In 2014, I started writing on Medium and I started a history podcast. I was not consistent, but on Medium, I uploaded dozens of articles and chapters of books I was writing. I did that for a few years. I was reading a book called Why Nations Fail, and I was taking notes on it. I put those notes into a Medium draft and titled it, Why Mexico is Poor and the U.S. is Rich. That article randomly became a #1 result on Google for a few years. In hindsight, I gave it a good headline. I wasn't trying to do SEO, it's just a title that came to me, and it happened to be Google friendly. I didn't even know that when I was writing the headline. I never put that article behind the Medium paywall because Google searchers are not paying Medium members. But after a few years of learning more and more about author funnels, I eventually wrote a call to action before the body of the article and sent people to download a free book I wrote about Mexico. It's a very unoptimized funnel, but the free book has links in the back matter to my other paid books. So if I had known to do all of this before I originally published the article, I could have turned a small amount of that Google traffic into paying readers. But I was one person trying to learn and do everything myself. So that article got 13,000 views. Back in May of 2024, I added all my Medium views up from all my articles, and the total was 40,000. Yeah, 40,000 since 2014. Not very impressive. Then I added all my Amazon downloads and got just over 1,000. Not very impressive. And then I looked at the stats for my podcast. It got 274,000 downloads. I count those as views for my writing because the podcast was heavily researched and scripted. It was basically an audiobook. I wrote almost every word of that podcast. So that's how I got 300,000 views. One thing I want to say here is at every point in my writing journey, I've been late to the party. I missed the Kindle Gold Rush. I didn't publish anything there until 2013 or 2014, and the Gold Rush was over by then. I believe I missed the golden age of podcasting, which I would put from 2010 to 2014 as far as podcasts being a fresh, exciting, growing thing. When I launched the Mexico podcast, it was at a time when people were saying, everybody has a podcast, we don't need more, it's oversaturated, no more podcasts. So keep that in mind, that word oversaturated. People say that about everything. And yet, despite podcasting being oversaturated a decade ago, I still got a ton of traffic. I was relatively early to Medium, but I was not consistent. I didn't join the partner program until 2024, and by then, the Medium Gold Rush was over. I believe that ended in around August of 2023. And now I'm making this YouTube video, and everybody says, YouTube is oversaturated. Everything is always oversaturated. Who cares? Key takeaways. First, track your numbers. You might look at my 300,000 number and be jealous, but don't be. I started writing online in 2005, and I haven't done anything right at all except a lot of typing. Take action on the things I say on this channel, and you won't have to spend 20 years crawling in the dark like I did. Second, be in a position to capitalize on random viral hits. My article about why Mexico is poor is long and boring, but Google randomly picked it up. That kind of stuff just happens. But I didn't have anywhere else for those readers to go after clicking on my article. Start thinking now about where you're going to send readers if you get a post that randomly gets hundreds or thousands of views. Any call to action is better than no call to action. Don't expect readers to enjoy your work so much that they click your profile and dig through your archives for something else. Make it easy for them. At the end of a book or article, put a link to something similar. Have a road they can follow. Most people won't follow your plan, but some will. The easier you make it for them, the further they will go. Another key takeaway, document your process. So let me show you how I would fix that situation if I could go back in time. The Mexico podcast. It was very high quality, or as high quality as I was able to produce by myself at the time. It was a history podcast, and I uploaded very slowly because every episode required dozens of hours of research, writing, recording, editing. I went all in on the quality beats quantity mindset, and I was decently successful, but I thought I needed to be an expert, and that really slowed me down. Example number 2 is Bad Sim Racer. I play a lot of racing simulator video games, and I'm not very good at it, but that's okay. I record the footage of me trying to get through a race and usually getting suboptimal results, and then I post those videos to YouTube. As you can see here, the channel has no audience. This will probably be the case for a long time. Video game channels are actually oversaturated. But whatever, I'm not banking on that channel to make me a bajillionaire. I'm not putting any pressure on that project. I'm not trying to get famous in the sim racing world. It's just a way to document the process of me learning how to drive virtual race cars. It gets me into that community, and it lets me turn one of my hobbies into content while teaching me about video editing and consistent uploading. But I'm not consistent at all on that channel. Don't be scared of the word content, by the way. Don't be overly romantic about making sure everything you produce is the single greatest piece of art that has ever existed. It's fine to just make content sometimes. If I had taken the same approach to Bad Sim Racer that I used for the Mexico podcast, I would study each racetrack for 10 hours, learning every braking point down to the centimeter, optimizing my fuel levels, driving around each track 400 times, and watching 1,000 track guides. Then I would upload my one best lap. Basically, I would become an expert on the track and invest hundreds of hours before even uploading 2 minutes of content. It's possible that this approach would magically let my channel go viral, but it's extremely unlikely. Instead, I'm getting more practice by uploading low-stakes videos and not worrying if I look like I'm not good at what I'm doing. I'm not good. I'll get good because it's just about putting in the hours and practicing. That's how you get good at anything. I wanted my history podcast to accurately represent the events I was talking about, but since I was not an expert in the history of Mexico, I slowed myself down way too much. What I should have done was document the process of researching and writing and recording the episodes, sort of document the process of me becoming an expert. It would have helped people relate to me as a person rather than just a narrator of a thing. You don't need to be an expert. You can share what you're learning. Everybody learns things in their own unique way, so anytime we learn something new, it helps to get perspectives from a lot of people who have also been down that road before or are going down that road right now. You sharing your process can help someone else who is also learning. For example, I'm learning about bookkeeping and accounting right now, and it's helpful to hear what very experienced and credentialed CPAs think, but it's equally helpful to hear people who are new to the field. Sometimes newbies have perspectives that the old, jaded veterans just don't have anymore. So whatever you're trying to learn, share your process. Take notes, like physically in a notebook, with a pencil, And then share pictures of your notes. Share your thoughts. Finally, here are some things that help me outwrite a lot of other writers. 1. Listen to a song. How does that song make you feel? Write down those feelings. Write down random words that come into your mind as you listen. And if it drags up bad memories, don't stop writing. Go all the way through. 2. When you're at work and an idea hits you, take a bathroom break. Go write the idea. Tap it out on your phone. Bathroom breaks are almost always acceptable anywhere you go, unless you're scared of your toddler climbing the kitchen counters while you're in the bathroom. But otherwise, you can pretty much go to the bathroom whenever you want. 3, record voice memos when you drive to work. I have written entire book chapters this way. 4, interview people. Maybe other writers on YouTube or Medium or Substack, maybe family or friends, anybody. If you can't think of questions to ask them, just search best small talk questions. Because if you search best interview questions, everything will be about job interviews. You can either record the conversation in a voice memo or email some questions to your interlocutor. 5, every moment in life can become content. There's that big scary word again, content. Oh my God, we have to do content. Write about a trip to the grocery store. Rant about the loathsome people who don't return their carts to the corral. Rant about people who leave their shopping cart in the middle of the cereal aisle while they thoroughly analyze every single ingredient in Cap and Crunch. 6, write about your favorite band or movie. And if you're thinking, nobody will read that, Brandon, you're right. But here's the thing. Nobody's reading your stuff anyway. That's not going to change for a while. In the meantime, you need to write as much as you possibly can because you need to master your craft, you need to master your instrument, help your body physically fuse with your keyboard, and you need to help your brain start to find inspiration everywhere. A brain that thinks writing equals long and complicated is a brain that will resist writing. You need to trick your brain into doing things it doesn't want to do. Okay, that's the end. Thank you for sticking with me until now. I have free resources down in the description, and there are probably relevant videos on the left or right of the screen. If this was helpful for you, give it a like, subscribe, share it with your writer friends, and I'll see you next time.